Grizzlies fans, it's time for another game day update. Today, the Grizzlies start a road back-to-back today in Dallas, um, tomorrow in Phoenix. So today, breaking down the Mavs game. Lesley McCaslin, are you excited for this one?
I am. I have seen a lot of Memphis over the years. My time with the Thunder and playoffs, I feel like it was kind of like my second home for a while. I always loved playing the Grizzlies.
Yeah, right. And now, oh, we don't get to talk about Steven Adams though. That was like the one common
I
denominator.
know.
He's still
Steve,
out
I
today.
know everybody misses him in the NBA.
Okay. And I guess you've seen a lot with the Grizzlies even this season because we played just about a month ago on October 30th. The Mavs won that one 125 to 110. And we will talk about it a little bit, but I think the main news breaking today was that Luka is not going to be playing today for personal reasons. And in the last game, he had 35, 12, and 12 shot. 50% from the field was absolutely incredible, as he is most games, Lesley. But
Crazy.
how big, I mean, it's a silly question to say how big of a hole does that leave, but like who steps up into that hole?
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to go big or small. I wouldn't be surprised if they put Dwight Powell in there just to go up against y'all's bigs instead of adding another small. They put Josh Green in the starting rotation just a couple games ago, so it's quite possible they could use like a Seth Curry. But I know this is what everybody says. It's going to have to be a team thing. There's not one person that can step up and fill Luka's role. I will say though that those two guys, Luka and Kyrie, have played a lot of basketball without the other one. That happened a lot last year. The first time that the Mavs played you guys, Kyrie was out. So I don't want to say they're used to it, but you have two ball dominant guys that, like, when one of them is out, and the other one's like, okay, well, then I'm just going to take over most of this game because we're not splitting time. And the way that they play is very different. And that's something they had to really work on during training camp was Luka is such a slow player and they really wanted to speed up the pace and find a little bit more synchronization with him and Kyrie. And they have done that, which has been huge, not just for those two guys this year, but for everybody playing around them. It just seems like everybody's on the same page. So I think with Kyrie's in there, they're going to play at that faster pace, just like they always do. And yes, you miss 35, 12, and 12, and that like Luka magic hook shot he had the other night against the Rockets, which was ridiculous. But I still don't think it takes this team out because they have a ton of depth.
Yes. So, as you kind of just alluded to, or not alluded, you said it, Kyrie did not play in that first game. So it is kind of like a swap for swap. The Grizzlies had Marcus in the first game. So Dez and Jaren both scored 30. And then Marcus added 23. Everyone else was kind of just like trickling along in the lineup, adding a few here and there. That hurts because Marcus is kind of like the perimeter defender. He was on Kyrie, he was on Tim Hardaway Jr., who had 21 in that game, so another big guy off the bench. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like the non-Marcus lineup going against the Kyrie. And like if they do go small, that hurts the Grizzlies so much on the defensive end, especially I'm looking at three-pointers. So the Grizzlies allow the highest percentage from their
And
opponents from
we
three.
hit so many threes the last time we were in Memphis. And we're predicated on that. Like they shoot the three ball knowing that like we're probably going to make more threes than the other team is going to make twos. And if we do that, we're going to win. And unfortunately for the Mavs, one of the biggest things has been defense. They don't play the best defense yet, though it is getting better, but they can pretty much outscore almost anybody. And the games that they've lost are when they let the opponent score like 130 points. Like as Jason Kidd said, their best defense is their offense. Hopefully that defense is going to get better, but the 3 point has been just huge for this team this year. And it's not just the starters. We talked about this before I came on. Tim Hardaway coming off the bench is definitely up there for a sixth player of the year nominee. He has been so good, averaging over 20 points this season.
Mhm. Yeah, I just took a quick look at it. The Mavs hit 23 threes in that first. I have to make that up, right? Nope, 23 threes and shot almost 50% from the three-point line in that first matchup against the Grizzlies. So that's going to be a key to look for.
And it's funny, KJ, I keep thinking it's an anomaly. Like, oh my goodness, they're getting lucky these games. They're getting lucky. And I was actually talking to one of our analysts, Derek Harper, about it. And he was like, we're not getting lucky because they're just taking good shots. Like this offense and the spacing allows this team to take good shots. So it's really not luck. I mean, and you have everybody, Derek Jones, you have all of these guys hitting three. So it's not just about making sure Luka and Kyrie are covered when Tim Hardaway and Derek and all these other guys can hit you from outside too. It's been pretty wild.
Yeah, I literally had to double check. I'm like, I'm not seeing that right. And I'm like, oh, no, I am. Okay. The other thing that the Mavs do really, really well, best in the league, is take care of the ball. They turn the ball over the least amount of any team. The Grizzlies just played the Jazz, who turn it over actually the most. And so that was one of the keys, is kind of capitalizing off of those turnovers and getting out in transition. Although you say with Kyrie, it's going to be a faster game. The Grizzlies can't capitalize on the turnovers as much as they can against the last team that they got their first home win against. What can they capitalize off of? What do you see the Grizzlies, like, what can they do tonight?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, because like the Clippers did capitalize a little bit because they were number one in steals in the NBA. And we
Okay.
lost the game out in LA because they really did get hands on balls and force those turnovers. But you're right, we're first in the NBA and averaging just over 11 turnovers per game. So it is hard to make them turn over the ball. I think Memphis can use their size. You have Derek Lively, who we missed badly against the Clippers when we lost with that back bruise. He's been back, but he's also a guy who's learning and gets in foul trouble very easily. And if they use their size as an advantage, especially down low, or could get him in foul trouble early, I can see that being a problem. The Lakers really struggled against us last week as well, but they had the size. And then down the stretch in the fourth quarter, they really pushed it. They really turned it on defense. They slowed the game down, which was huge. If you can slow the game down and get them more in half court sets, they really tend to struggle. So that'll be harder to do, I think, when it's just Kyrie in there and not Luka. But those are probably size, and if they can slow down the game and get maybe Derek Lively in foul trouble. And I hope people aren't watching this because I am not the coach, but these are my keys to the game if you want to beat the Mavs.
I mean, I'll just call Taylor Jenkins right now and let him know.
These are the
Lesley, this is the second time we're playing this team. Obviously, if I would have asked you this the first game, I'm going to ask you who the matchup that you're excited to see. Obviously, in an ideal world, it's like Luka and Ja. Neither of them play today. Who are you most excited to watch?
Oh, that's a good one.
He's not here. Can't say him.
Oh, and you know what? It is so much about luck and injuries and health. Like, how healthy is your team going to stay? Like, I just came off a baseball run where we had so many injuries for the Rangers, but then at the end, luck struck and like they were amazing. Yep, and won it all. Like, you just never know. So hold tight, Grizzlies fans, because just because you're injured now doesn't mean at some point they can't get healthy and make a run. Because I saw it happen in baseball. I don't know. I think I'll be interested to kind of watch the bigs go at each other. See Jaren Jackson, see Derek Lively. He's been really good. And people are like, no, we're not surprised. I think everybody is a little surprised. Like when he's not in foul trouble, he makes a huge difference. The pick and roll with him and Luka is so good. He looks like a natural out there. I don't think the Mavs are where they are at what we're 11-6 without Derek Lively. And people didn't really know what to expect from him. When he got injured, in the Lakers game earlier last week, everybody was a little like holding their breath because it looked a lot worse than it was. So the fact that he was able to come back, I think, is huge. So I'll be interested to watch that.
Yeah. Honestly, if I was going to pick two, like I'm going to say Dez because I think he's going to be the high scorer. But if I was to pick like matchup, I'm excited for the bigs today too. So it'll be fun little battle down low. And both teams that kind of struggle rebounding, I think 23rd and 24th in the league in rebounding. So not only will it be exciting to see them go head to head, it's going to be really important too.
Well, and one thing I have learned from watching is like, I know fans get disappointed when your stars aren't playing. Maybe they bought a ticket because they get to see Luka tonight. Like, I get that. But most of the time, you have somebody young or someone that's wanting to earn a contract step up and have an incredible game. So it doesn't mean you're not going to get an amazing game just because one or two of your stars are out. And I feel like Memphis has always played like that, this like grit and grind and physical play. And the Mavs have a great atmosphere here. So regardless of who's out there, I feel like it's going to be a good game.
Yes, let's do it. This game tips off at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Lesley, thank you so very much. I appreciate your time a ton. And no, we'll see you again this season, right?
Like on the 11th.
See you soon.
We're there in like a week.